in all fairness, this is a terrifying looking vegetable. It's literally covered in thorns. But I think about that with food a lot, with like lobster and cactus, literal cactus, like Nepalese, and this artichoke, and like sea urchin, and things that are very dangerous appearing. They're like, do not touch me, do not eat me, do not look at me. And we're like, what's going on in there? What if we steamed it? And turns out most of the time, pretty good. Hello, welcome to Home Movies. I'm Alison Roman, and today it's my birthday. It is now birthday tradition to, sort of celebrate on camera if we feel like there's gonna be a home movie around the time of someone's birthday. Last year we did hot dog party for my birthday, yay! And it was super fun, and I had all my friends there, and they weighed in on their likes and dislikes and like roasted me for my preferences. Is there anything that I don't have here that you wish you had on your hot dog?
Multiple things.
And this year I was like, none of that. This year it's about me. This year I get to choose what I want, and this year I choose steamed artichokes. There's nothing hotter to me than an artichoke. It is by far the sexiest vegetable that you could possibly look at, buy, grow, cook, eat.
I genuinely am curious to what you mean by hot, like sexy vegetable.
Do you understand the concept of eroticism, Dave?
Yeah, sure. Tell me more.
No. I don't know, it's like a sexy vegetable. Like you eat it with your teeth. It's like, you eat it with your hands. It's very thorny. You have to like prepare it well. It's not hot or sexual, like in a specifically gendered way, but I do feel like there's like hard feminine energy that pours out from an artichoke. And I'm gonna make it with butter, grated garlic, lots of flaky salt, pepper, and melted anchovies. From tie me up to tuck me in, what? Spice up your me time? I'm blushing. We interrupt this episode of Home Movies to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Dipsea. Dipsea is a sexual wellness audio erotica platform. If you are watching this and you're like, what is audio erotica? Or how can I sort of link in my sexual wellness with my mental health and my physical well-being and like better sleep and just like taking care of yourself, then I feel like Dipsea is something that you might want to explore. This is sort of like a very safe space to explore those urges and that curiosity in the privacy of your own room without shame or feeling weird about it or unsafe. They're constantly updating with new stories. So if you give it a shot, you listen to something and you're like, I don't know if that's for me. Like, rest assured, you will find something that's for you. And for all you Home Movies fans, if you go to dipseastories.com/Alison, you get a 30-day free trial. It's Dipsea, D-I-P-S-E-A, stories.com/Alison. It's a really special thing that they're trying to do to like make sure that women's bodies feel like holistically taken care of from, up here to here to here to everywhere. And I support it. So, basic artichoke preparation. I like to trim like the first 1.5 inches off the top, and that's gonna expose the interior, which will allow me to season. It will also allow it to steam more evenly. So I'll go like here and hold it as straight as possible. And so you can see like that beautiful purple choke inside. This discard, we don't need it, we don't want it. Another word of advice, if you're doing this and you touch your tongue, or you cut something else with this knife without rinsing it, it's extremely bitter. Artichoke is one of the main ingredients in a lot of bitter amaros and aperitivos. It's one of the main ingredients in Campari. Is it Campari or Cynar? Sorry, Cynar. There's a picture of an artichoke on the Cynar bottle.
Yeah.
Don't let that scare you, because once you steam this vegetable, all that bitterness sort of all but disappears. So, but it is something to be careful of when you're preparing this on a cutting board or your knife. I've made the mistake of like not rinsing the knife and then cutting something else and being like, why does everything taste so bitter? So don't do that. And now you just take little shears and cut off the top like 1/2 inch of each remaining leaf.
Give it a little haircut.
Yeah, this is also just like a very meditative task that I enjoy doing. These leaves down here at the bottom, like these like bottom baby leaves, you can just rip them off. It's a very romantic food. Any food that requires effort like this to me is like, I don't know, it's hot. Effort is hot.
Shows you care.
Yeah. And then I just trimmed the bottom. So this is a continuation of the heart. It's a bit more fibrous. A lot of people will trim it. My mom used to trim it like down to the base, but the older I got in my artichoke journey, the more I realized I actually don't mind the flavor, and because it has that like heart tenderness to it, I just kind of keep the stem longish. I grew up eating artichoke. They were one of the first foods that I was ever given the opportunity to like assist with in the kitchen with my mom. My mom gave me a pair of scissors and an artichoke to trim the thorny bits off. In retrospect, like a dangerous task for a child, but it just shows how advanced I was at such a young age that she trusted me with such dangerous tools and a scary looking vegetable. So our artichokes are prepped. I think artichokes for 2 is very sweet, so I'm making 2. Not because I'm sharing this with anyone, obviously, but I also want to show you what to do with leftover artichokes. So if you're gonna go through the trouble of buying, prepping, steaming the artichoke, I always just do extra because it's really, really lovely to eat over the next few days as like a snack. They're excellent cold, and I'll show you how to do that towards the end of this video. So stay tuned. Just kidding, we don't have breaks. Basically, if you're doing 4, use a bigger pot. If you're doing 2, you can use a smaller pot. You basically want a pot with a lid. No, yeah, that pot doesn't fit. So I'm gonna trim the stems a little further, just to make sure that they fit. Boom. All right, so our artichokes are in the pot. I stand them upright like that. I'm putting the water in the bottom of this pot. Oh, get some on the counter, don't forget. So it's about an inch of water in there. The smell of burnt artichoke water, it's bad. It's acrid, it's smoky, it's like tar-like. It smells bitter, and it is something you'll never ever forget. So the reason that I make sure that I have ample water here is you're not trying to waterlog the artichoke. We're not boiling the artichoke, but we are trying to adequately steam without running out of water and running the risk of burning that artichoke water, because it will haunt your dreams and your childhood. And then I'm just gonna sort of open them up slightly. They're very, very tight while they're raw, but you can kind of like move and manipulate ever so slightly. And granted, you know, they're packed in here together, which is what we want, but there's still room to kind of like fan them ever so slightly. And I do this so I can season it with salt in the leaves, which will make your eating experience more enjoyable after the fact. I think a common misconception about artichokes is that you need to like put them in water immediately to avoid them like quote unquote turning. Well, I have some news for you. As soon as you steam these bad boys, they turn army green. So what are we saving? I'm gonna put this over medium, high heat, whatever, bring it to a boil. Then I'm gonna reduce it to low and put the lid on and steam them for about an hour. So I'm just gonna keep the lid off until I see that they've come to a boil. And that's that. All right, this is boiling. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm gonna reduce the heat to low. I'm gonna move it to the back burner so I can make my butter. I'm gonna set a timer for 60 minutes. Good tweet. Listening to Beyonce's album explains why Drake named his album Honestly, Never Mind. Ah! Screaming, okay. It's Beyonce Day also, happy Beyonce Day to all who celebrate. Beyonce's birthday is September 4th. Susan Kim's birthday is September 5th. I'm September 1st. There's something there, I don't know. All right, we're using Ortiz today because it's my birthday and I deserve it. This is 4 ounces, which is a stick of butter. 2 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna grate them with the microplane. So I don't wanna crush them with my knife because it will be hard to microplane that. I like the idea of treating these videos like a vlog.
Tell me more.
I don't know.
What do you think a vlog is?
I don't know, a video log.
Have you even seen a vlog ever?
No. You could do this in a pot, you could do this in a skillet. I'm just using a tiny pot. Butter. We've all melted butter before, right? You melt it. That's it, that's the recipe. This is Kerrygold, which feels very luxurious.
What do you think a vlog is and what will happen on it?
I think a vlog is like, hey guys, like it's like really hey
You mean a
guys.
whole movie?
Yeah, but like more like in real time. Hey guys, I'm at the stage where I've been working out for like 2 solid months, like pretty regularly. My body hasn't like totally transformed, so I'm about to quit. That would be so boring. Some pepper, flaky salt, because you're worth it. I'm gonna melt this butter. It has the garlic in it. Once that happens, that's when we'll add the anchovies. We don't need to add them just yet. And this can go on low. We're not trying to brown the butter or anything. In fact, we don't want it to brown. Ortiz, great anchovies, love them. This butter is melted. I'm gonna add a few anchovy fillets. Let's call it 2 to 4. These are meaty boys, wow. They should honestly just melt right in there. It's pretty amazing how that happens. I still don't understand the science behind it, but I don't care to learn. I'm gonna just save these and eat them with the anchoke. With the anchoke, wow. Artichoke later. We're back. The artichokes are steamed, the butter is made. I've set a table, a thing I've never done here.
It's a great vibe.
Yeah, it is a great vibe. I've always been a candle person, to my credit, and I've definitely always been a wine person, but I became a tablecloth person. Oh! Oh!
Whoa! Hey, no,
So the artichokes are steamed in the pot. I like to just put it in a little dish. This one we'll save for later. If I'm cooking for people, everybody gets their own artichoke, but if it's just me, I'll still probably steam 2, and that one we're gonna save. It'll get cold and chilled, and I'll show you how to eat that after I eat this. The best and easiest way to tell if an artichoke is ready, obviously, like I said, it turns this like really deep olive green, and the leaves become easy to remove. You try to remove an artichoke leaf from a raw artichoke, it's not gonna happen. But here, you can like easily pull it out, and it should be sort of effortless. This will be very hot for a while, so this is also like the kind of thing, the artichokes can be ready to eat and you can eat in like an hour. You don't need to eat them right now. They also don't need to be eaten hot necessarily. One day I would like to do a video for a stuffed artichoke. It's not today though. It's such a good food. You could be I'm a bottom teeth person. I don't know why I just use my top teeth. Like that. I like to serve them in a bowl so I can like put the leaves in the bowl, but you can also like set a little bowl out if you're eating with lots of people to discard. You can squeeze lemon on it, which is nice. The outer leaves will always be tougher than the inner leaves, but they're still fun to eat. It's not unsimilar to eating a crab or a lobster in that for me, I love to eat the tiny legs first, which are like, don't have much meat in them. They're kind of hard to navigate. It's like, it's more of like a texture thing, vehicle for butter. And then once you peel the legs away and you can like get to the claws, get to the tail, get to the heart of everything, it's effectively the similar journey here where like you eat the outer leaves to get to the inner leaves. And if you want to skip the outer leaves, that's fine, but I feel like hard stuff is part of the journey. And these aren't like especially in season.
When is the season?
Spring, but we live in a global economy. You can get anything you want anytime. Here's a fun fact that I'm gonna share with you on my birthday. I do weird stuff with food sometimes. I eat the whole shell of a peanut. I like it. I eat the peanut like a chip. It tastes good. It tastes good to me.
You get a peanut and you bite into it the way you would bite into like a candy bar and you're like, and you just eat the shell. You chew the shell and you.
Sometimes I shell it. It's like if I have a bowl of peanuts, I'd say like 1 out of every 4 peanut I eat whole. Same thing with sunflower seeds.
That can't be good for your.
It's fine. Honestly, I've been doing it for 37 years. See how close we are to the heart? The leaves become very, very like delicate, beautiful, feathery, and you can kind of eat the whole thing. That's like viewer discretion, eater discretion. I could see some people being like, oh, you don't eat that part, but like I do. I guess was my point in sharing that tidbit of information. You eventually get to a point where you can't go any further and the leaves become sharp again. They become too delicate, too papery, too feathery, and they have like that pointy choke at the end of it. We're gonna just rip this off.
Oh, wow.
And this is what I've always thought inspired the face on the creature in Tremors. This you do not want to eat. This is the choke. You will choke on it as advertised. You're just gonna scoop it out. I'm just gently scraping these little hairs and fibers. This is the heart of what we're left with. See how tender it is? This has oxidized a bit, but I could not care less. And then to eat this, same. You dip it. This is like your meaty reward. This is what you came for. Better than crab, better than lobster. I said it. It's better. I don't know, it reminds me of all the best parts of why I like cooking and why I like eating. Reminds me of sex. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't. It's just like erotic. It's an erotic vegetable. I'm just gonna show you, if you do have that leftover artichoke, like what you should be doing with it. Typically what I do is I eat the leaves cold, like dipped into a vinaigrette of some sort. I obviously don't have that, which is fine. But you can imagine what it would be like if I did. So I'm gonna peel this back just to sort of mimic the experience of getting to the heart, but I will eat these leaves. And these artichokes are on the smaller side, but similar technique, you just peel off the top This is the part you're not eating. Get rid of that choke. You don't have to have a cute tiny spoon to do this, but it does come in handy. So I'm gonna slice these. I would take some nice arugula. I used to work at a farm selling the greens for the farm at the Santa Monica Farmers Market. And I was 19 and was just like happy to have a job there. Like I was like, I wanna work at a farm. Like I thought that'd be cool. So they let me sell the greens and they'd let me take home as many greens as possible at the end of my shift. And I always took home like the most massive bag of arugula that was like this. It was super fresh, very peppery, very crunchy. And I would drive home to the valley from Santa Monica. I would take PCH and I would just like sit in traffic eating pieces of arugula like chips. And I still do that now. Literally minutes ago, David's like, are you eating arugula? Just like by itself? And I was like, yeah. So I would put my little artichoke pieces. And then I will be eating this with anchovies as well. Some flaky salt, some pepper, some olive oil. Maybe like a few little anchovies. Because turns out anchovies and artichokes, wow, a delightful pairing. And if it's your birthday, you should be making yourself a fancy lunch. Is this salad more about the arugula and the Parmesan? Maybe. Are there artichoke hearts in here? Absolutely. Wow, dream salad. Mmm. Free idea to every restaurant in America. If I had a restaurant, this would be my signature dish. I'm calling it right now. Artichoke hearts with anchovy, arugula, and Parmesan. Me up. It's the best salad I've ever had. I've peaked. Oh, jammy egg. That's what I was gonna do.
Jammy eggs is like another extra birthday treat.
I haven't had a jammy egg in a minute.
Woo!
She jammy.
Wow.
So hopefully this video has inspired you to try artichokes or to like reconnect with a food that you had when you were growing up, which is like an earnest statement, but I mean that because I was like, well, I can't talk about artichokes because they're too complicated, but actually they're not that complicated and I love them. They're worth the effort. And I think that most good things in life are. So hopefully this encourages you to spend a little bit more time on something that you might otherwise not. And especially if it's your birthday, it's like a nice way to do something good for yourself.
Let's all do the work.
We're all doing the work.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me. Thank you for joining me. This year, David and I are going to go see Harry Styles.
It's true.
By the time this airs, we will have already seen Harry Styles. So you probably will know this because I'll probably post about it on the internet.
We'll have been to Harry's house.
Yeah, we're going to Harry's house at Madison Square Garden.